City Board of Adjustments to order at 5:30 on October 3rd, 2024. In a special call, we'll stick to our agenda. Go pretty closely, so we will first thing we'll do is recess into a public hearing to receive public comment on a conditional use filed by Ryan Nelson for the property at 417 East Third Avenue. Dwelling in R3 zone. Yes, sir.
I need to recuse myself from this meeting for financial and personal.
Understand. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We will proceed. Applicant present to speak to this. Perfect. This is considered to be a quasi judicial inquiry, so we will swear to you.
Swear you like me. Swear to tell the truth.
Okay. Now, just give us a general overview for the record and for us. Just give us a general overview of what you're planning to do. The mic on.
It's on. That's good. Light go out. Yeah. Easy. Can everybody hear? No. Nobody hear. You may have to actually just take the mic and hold it. Yeah. That might work better. It's all right. Yeah, there you go. I don't think it's work. Well, it's got to be turned up apparently. Try again.
Mm-hmm.
You may just have to speak up because that thing should be working. Let me see the channel. The channel for it. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay.
When I'm so lost in my house,
I set it up close to you.
I consider go to workplace in my house. I believe would be good. The size of it, there's several houses around me that have will be the same size of what I'm building. The area has rentals. It doesn't have a fourplex, but there's duplexes. I do have paperwork on them. Good for him. Okay. Any questions for Ryan? It does meet all the setbacks, everything.
I was going when he gets done. I was going to go over the staff's findings on that.
Okay.
It did. I can go ahead and begin or something.
Would be, I think, do that.
That's your question.
We'll hang tight just in case there is. This is a fourplex. It is a two-story, 2-on-2. With 2-bedroom apartments in each, requiring 12. That's 8 at 1.5 per bedroom, plus 12 parking places that are required. Setbacks are met based on the layout, and I call your attention to this document. Okay, and that document showing you layout. It's kind of going back in the same spot as the original house. He has a layout also for parking. And he actually shows 12 parking places or 13 parking places, but my only question is I'm not comfortable with the parking places as shown, not having competing or conflicts. The turning or turnaround radius is not really adequate based on that. Now, it doesn't mean it couldn't be some changes made to compensate for that, but it's just the way of the layout we've got originally, and this is the one that shows the parking. It's not quite, to me, that after looking at some of the measurements, I don't think that particular layout would work. But as far as that goes, the house is located properly as far as setbacks go. And you do have a picture of I think this is the one that you're actually going to use because that's what you submitted. Picture of the house itself.
Front elevation would be facing Birch.
That's really all we've got as far as ours. We were looking at making sure that,
And in the aerial view, the 24 by 24 is a pre-existing garage, is that correct?
that is correct. The two accessory structures are existing.
Yes. And the overview of the description here, versus the aerial shot, the 12 by 24, that's existing structure as well.
That's correct.
Thank you.
That's all I have, unless you guys have questions of me. I'm speaking.
Yeah, I think that's all we need to do. Yeah. Is there anybody else that's here to speak to this? Just raise your hand and we'll let you each speak however you'd like, one at a time, for or against.
How's the time?
If you don't speak now, then you've lost your opportunity because this is a hearing. And anything said in here is the only thing that would be reviewed if it was a appeal to somewhere else. If it's not on here, it doesn't get said again. So if you have something you want to say, this is the time to do it. Okay. Now, step on up.
This time.
Step on up.
Whichever one is hard.
Thank you, Dave.
Larry Witt.
Where is Delport?
Yes, sir.
All right.
My name's Larry Witt. I live on 321 Ashland Street. I also have a couple other properties in that area. It's a residential area. Seems like everybody has really tried hard to keep that area nice, clean. There are a couple of duplexes in a couple block area. We've had trouble with duplex behind us, tenants in and out all the time. Of course, it's a rental. We've had people walk through our yard at 3 o'clock in the morning. The other duplex, there's not enough parking for some of these things, and they're parked out of the road. Apparently, we can't police that. No complaints. You don't get anything done, but I don't think a fourplex in that area in this neighborhood is what we need, at least in my opinion. The fourplexes I've seen, I mean, go down apartments down there, they're fourplexes in the back. Trash everywhere, stuff everywhere. You got 4 families and stuff in a small yard like this one is, which I don't know a lot of the zoning or what space you have to have. I know I can't even add an outbuilding to my huge lot, but yet we can build a fourplex, 4 families. All this stuff is going to be around that. To me, it looks like it not be good for that neighborhood. Drive through our neighborhood and see the people that are here, and how they keep their houses. I'm not saying it wouldn't be, but on the other ones in Calvert City that I've seen, I just don't think that's what I'm doing in my neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand, swear, what's your name?
Manny Blossom.
You swear to tell the truth?
Pardon?
You swear to tell the truth?
I do.
All right.
Yes, if I know. I live adjacent on catty corner from said property. I've got some experience dealing with my wife's, parents' property, and it was right next door to a fourplex. And, I don't think that, given the history of rental property in Calvert City, I mean, we got a lot of rental property that's not very well maintained. And the fourplex that's next to her mom and dad, it's a constant battle to keep the trash picked up, beer cans, Coke cans, McDonald's bags, everything you can think. People move in, move out, leave their animals. It's a mess. Right now, the grass is probably a foot tall. The buildings needs repair. Anybody who drives by it can see it. There was one behind the shopping center that finally got to the stage. They had to tear it down. And besides that, we got a lot of people that's moved into the old part of Calvert. They're working really hard to upgrade their property, increase property value, myself included. These people here, they all work hard to keep their places up. And nothing personal against the young man that's wanting to build this, but when he had a house there, he didn't really maintain the property all that well. So that makes it a concern to me because I live so close to the property. And Larry and these different things, we got a lot of money in this. And the simple truth of the matter is that our property value, we feel like, is at stake here. And given the things that go on with rental property, that people's moving, we live on a little short street. And I think Larry and some of these other people, I mean, Third Street there, well, it's kind of dead end on both ends, but we got enough traffic on that street that people think they got to hit 40 miles an hour before they get to the stop sign. We just don't need a lot more traffic. I don't particularly like the idea of looking out my window or off my property and looking at a parking lot. It's going to be filled with no telling what, boats, trailers, about anything you can probably think of. So I really think that it's not a benefit to the community. And I think, given the history, we got a lot of rental property in Calvert, and nothing against people that rent, but just take the economy. It's getting harder and harder to maintain property because of the increase in fuel and electric bills, and homeowners goes up every year, and a lot of interest rates, stuff changing. It's hard for people to come up with the money to maintain their property. So I don't, the fourplex is a big building. It's going to take a lot of maintenance. And my feelings is that our community just don't need it. We got too many people that are working hard to maintain their property, keep it up, and spend a lot of time working on it. I'm opposed to this. I don't think it's a good idea, given the past histories of the fourplexes we got in the community. I don't see any benefit. Thank you for your time.
I have to write my stuff down because I'll forget.
Raise your right hand. That's your name.
Angela Hooper.
You swear to tell the truth.
I do. My name is Angela Hooper. I live at 436 3rd Avenue, so it's directly across the street from me. And kind of what we've already talked about, just fourplex doesn't kind of fit the character of our neighborhood because there's single family dwellings with retirees and empty nesters and families that are starting out. As you know, rental properties have a high statistical turnover rate. So we're looking at, as we've talked about, an increase in traffic. Whenever you look at that traffic, we've got a lot of kids in the neighborhood. You've also got those of us that kind of watch out for each other. And do you know that that car is supposed to be there? Is that someone that's in our neighborhood? You've got this constant turnover. You're not going to know that. Noise, different vehicles that are coming in and out, different schedules of different people. If you've got 8 or 12 people in this, then you've got all of those schedules and all of that noise in the neighborhood. So again, just an increase of people in the area. Faces, as I said with the car, you don't ever know, we pretty well know who's supposed to be there and who's not supposed to be there. So now you're looking at maybe a dozen faces that you don't know whether they're supposed to be there. And we're just a couple of blocks from the elementary school. I know one of the reasons that I purchased my house was because I felt comfortable that my kids could walk to the elementary school and even through high school, catch the bus. If you've got people that are turning over for renters and things, you may not feel comfortable letting your kids be out in the yard, grandkids being out in the yard. Safety concerns, if those safety concerns go up, you've got additional policing that has to be in the area, which is taxing on our police force. Do we have enough people to do that? If I were to ask each one of you, what attracted you to come to Calvert City? Is it a fourplex, or is it the fact that you could buy a house with a front yard and a backyard to allow your family to enjoy that area? Having a sense of security, letting your kids play in your yard or walk back and forth to school or ride bikes. Bikes are part of the new era of Calvert. In my opinion, allowing the construction of a fourplex basically destroys the quality of life that I bought into whenever I made the biggest investment that I've ever made in my life, and that was my house. And catering to developers or people that want to push renting into the area. That's not longevity. You don't have those neighbors that have been there 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You've got somebody that signed a lease for maybe a year and then they're moved on, and then you've got to get to know someone else. I know not in Ryan's case, but in other cases, if this goes forward, what you're doing is basically setting the rolling stone for, hey, you know what? I don't want to live in Calvert anymore, so let's bulldoze my house and put a fourplex in there. So, because it's going to be more equitable for me, it's going to be more money in my pocket. I can go build a house somewhere else in a fourplex here, or a threeplex here. We talked about market value. How would you, each one of you, feel if this was proposed to be right next to the house that you own right now? Put yourself in that before you go forward in this. That's about all I've got to say. I have nothing against Ryan. I am going to make one other statement before I sit down. There was a rumor in the area that there was a petition going around. There was not a petition. There was a piece of paper that was given out with information of when this meeting was happening. So I did want to put that on record that there was not a petition.
Thank you.
My name is
Raise
Gail.
your right hand.
My name is Gail Presby.
You swear to tell the truth.
Yes, I do. This is really hard for me tonight. I go way back with Ryan's family. His grandmother and grandfather live right behind me. She's the police, John Nelson. Wonderful neighbors. I would much rather have Ryan as my neighbor again back there. And a fourplex is just hard for me to swallow. In front of me is a duplex. I already have a duplex right in my front. And constantly people are moving. And the last two tenants are the only two tenants that did not block the roads. Our road has been blocked continuously where I could not get out of my driveway. I would ask the people to move, and they did, they always complied. But there were still other parts that was blocked. I had to really be careful backing out because they would move their vehicle up. I was scared I was gonna hit it. Now it's much better now. So I'm not worried, will there be enough parking for that many families in that fourplex? Will they park in the road there too? Because if they do, and if, say somebody gets back in that other duplex, I'm gonna have this roadblock and this roadblock. I hope it doesn't. Now Ryan, my backyard will join his. It's perfectly fine. I would want a fence being built, and I understand he is gonna do that. That would be good. But I'm just really concerned about the coming and the going and the park.
Thank you.
Dawn Quinn.
What's up there?
Okay, so I'm Larry's wife, so you know I live at 321 Aspen Street. And when we moved there 7 years ago, across the street from us was a house. It was owned by the resident that lived there. It was falling in on itself. 2 doors down from that, next door to our catering building, which is the old church over on the corner of down on the corner. It was horrible. And they were renters. They had probably 8 dogs that if you were doing anything outside, you'd have to hide because they would start barking and barking incessantly. We ended up finally buying it from the owner of the house, and we tore it down just to be done with that mess that was next door. I mean, it was a poorly kept home. When we went inside, we could not believe that people were actually living in that house. And they had people coming and going constantly, pitching tents in the yard, you know, camping out. I mean, it was really bad. So we were very happy to be able to tear that thing down. Sherry Shepherd, our neighbor that lives around the corner, who is also here tonight, she bought the house directly across the street from us after the owner moved to a different home and tore it down. We were very thankful for that. So we're really working very, very hard, just like everybody else here. We're working very hard to make this part of Calvert City pretty. And I think everybody's doing a great job of it. And when we've owned 3 houses since we've been married, we've owned 3 homes in Calvert City. They were all our homes. We bought them, fixed them up, sold them, bought another one, fixed it up, sold it. When we came back, I seem to recall that there was a push for home ownership in Calvert City because there are a lot of renters in Calvert City. So I have nothing against this young man here, but I do have something against his plan of putting all of those people on that tiny lot with, I haven't seen anything, but it sounds like the parking will be a nightmare. And like Gayla mentioned, the cars, we've seen, I know what she's saying about the duplex. And we know the people that live over there in the duplex, both sides, but it's crowded. And that's just 2 families. So I can't imagine 4, you know, if you think about it, that's a lot of people in one little corner of Calvert City with a lot of vehicles. So I'm totally against this. And my question for Ryan would be, what is the rent going to be for each unit? If he knows that. I mean, what type of renter is he trying to attract? I have that question. That's all I have to think.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I do.
State your name,
Real estate.
your legal name.
Hello.
You swear to tell the truth. All right, go ahead.
It's really all I would say is, you know, I think Ryan could guarantee good renters because I don't think there are good renters. You know, if you've ever rent something, it's things like, you always get somebody that leaves your money behind, you know, turns the place and moves out, you know, doesn't pay the last rent. You know? So I just don't see four renters there all the time being good, being in our area. So just, I would want to add to that. I think no.
Thank you, brother.
Sharon Shepherd.
Jared Shepherd. Okay. Is that with a C?
It's CHER-SHEPP.
You swear to tell the truth.
Okay, I also do not have anything against this young man and what he's proposing to build, but I do have a problem with the unit. And, like Dawn was saying, I purchased the house across the street from her, from their property, and tore it down because I purchased my home I live on 2nd Street, right behind the catering business. And I also have the lot on Aspen where I tore the house down. Because when I purchased my house 16 years ago there, and which I've lived in Calvert City all of my life, and my mother worked at the post office, everyone in my family. But when I first moved in there was a rental house there that they bought and tore down. And it was a drug dealer that lived in the house. She didn't pay the rent, which my cousin is the one that owned that property at that time. He would not throw her out. So there were constantly vehicles there all the time. They would knock the security light out so that you couldn't see anything that was going on. I was afraid to go in my own backyard at night because of the people that were there. And I think it's all of what they have mentioned, the traffic, but the security concerns alone. You don't know who these people are that are living in these units. And it doesn't matter how much you charge for rent. I know I used to have a rental unit in the bottom of my other home that I rented it to an upstanding young man. He paid 2 months rent and then he got on drugs and didn't pay the rent. I had to go to court, forcibly remove him from that property by the police. And so it doesn't matter if you charge $2,000. Anyone can come up with the $2,000 to pay the first month's rent and then not pay any more, and then they're going to have to be removed. And I don't know. My question is, how big is that lot anyway that he's going to build this on? Because over the years, I have had problem after problem I just wanted to build a storage building on my lot. And I have almost 3 acres on my property alone at my house. And like Larry said, I had to jump through hoops to even get that done. And then I wanted to enclose my carport and I was denied that because they said I would have to tear it down because it was too close to the line, which a new rule had come in. So I want to know how he's going to be able to put that on that piece of property with existing buildings that are already there. Because he doesn't have enough room for all of that and the parking. But I just, like they have all said, we worked really hard to make that neighborhood secure, upgrade our premises. And it's just, I think it's a terrible idea. And it's gonna lower our property values, like they said. And I just don't think we as the neighborhood, because like they said, would you want it next to you? Would you want to be able, when I first moved there, I couldn't even go outside at night in my own place. And these people are gonna feel like that because they don't know who's there.
We should on that. Name,
Jim Gregory.
or tell truth.
Yes, I do. I live right behind with this house in here. I've lived there since 1968. We have a duplex in the front of our house. And we've got rentals. And right now, we've got some real good people. And this is nothing personal. I know. My main concern tonight is the parking. Where we are on Second and Birch and Third, to a certain point. The ditches on the side are extremely deep. You can't drive through them. The main one on one side of the Birch is where they come in and be done the sewer, and the city done a great job with that. The one on the right is the one that was there to start with. I've got these ditches on three sides of my house and across the road. From the duplexes there, the biggest thing was blocking me in. I've got a driveway in the back of my house. I got a driveway but since I'm in the front. And every time the parking, and a lot of it's not the renter's problem. Like that, you got three places plus the garages in front of the garages. But when you have so many people there, they'll park out on the road. And when you come out of my driveway, you can't, if there's a car parked on the side of the road, you can just be so far, you'll be up on the top of it, because they'll turn it over. And I'd have to go knock on the door and move the vehicle. I've done that numerous amounts of times. In fact, it got so bad one time I had the police. I don't like doing that. But I get to thinking, I have seen vehicles come out there and have to get by. But there's no place, there's no leeway to get off the road. Birch Street is the same way. It's just got deep on both sides of the road. I don't think you can take a regular vehicle and cross each other, go by each other on that road. You might do it, but it'll be awful close. And as steep as they are you might have to go back. And that goes all up and down the front of the street. Part of it, man, running to make money, whatever. I don't mind. But what I've seen is a real place there now, we've got good people. But before, we've had everything, good rates. People haven't got enough, and they don't still. people lives in one side of it, now it's got 3 vehicles. Well, that's exactly how many, on the front of God, that's exactly how many parking places they've got. Well, the elderly couple moves now. They're there now, they've got 1 vehicle and a golf cart. So we're fine. But then if you leave by there, they park on the side of that road, and you cannot get by. Especially, I doubt you can get by with 1, I know you can't too. And I have concerns of saying you do call the police, or you do have a fire. I mean, that right, the little road there on Birch, you can't get out through there. You can barely get a fire truck coming, they're big. So my main concern is not having enough places to park, not having enough places for, to have, come to see them or whatever. And I just don't think it's a good idea for one that large. It's just not been.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Maybe.
I talked to a realtor before, actually yesterday. And, I showed the realtor my plans, looked through, I looked my neighborhood, actually, into my house, the house that I had. And, she said she said there'd be no effects of devaluing houses in that neighborhood. The size of it, altogether 36.4, and the houses that are next to me, they're this right here is the first floor is 2003 square, and the half story is 624. This one right here, that's kind of corner from me, is actually was built as an duplex, and it is 3364 with and it has a garage. So I believe the size of it is not really. It does fit for what's there now. I mean, yeah, there is a lot of other smaller houses, but there's also houses there that will be the same size. And the rent that I'll have is gonna be based on how much it costs. So it's gonna be at least 1,000 or more, at least 11. I would say. No more. It would be no more than 1,200. And I really don't see that. I'll be living in one of them, so I'll actually be living there, and I'll be living there with my girlfriend and a 10-month-old baby. I'll be doing inspections quarterly on each apartment. But so I don't really believe that I'll be taxing the city more for the police patrol or have any kind of influence on that. It would be no different if I built it across the street on Evergreen. I mean, I don't frankly though bring up tax the police more. I said I'll be there, I'll be living there. I'll be able to maintain the people that live there. And all that house going on. doesn't mean it isn't. You know, I know people that lived there before me, people that have lived there before I had, you know, I understand how they feel maybe about it. But the people that have moved in, like, you know, you should do research more of what area you're moving to. And not in a bad way, like just knowing that something like this can pop up. You know, someone that could build that in that area. That's all.
I realize I asked questions. Or not. Okay.
Raise your right hand. We're still taking comment, okay, state your name.
Melissa Elbert.
You swear to tell the truth.
Yes. That's my sign, and, I live right beside him. You know, I'm remodeling my place. And I've been remodeling it since I moved there, and, about to get it done. But I do have some problems around that neighborhood. We have lots of traffic come up through there all the time, and it's not the traffic that lives on that block. It's a lot goes through there and just cuts through there all the time. Even on Second Street, we have a lot of traffic. And I have a problem with some of the people. There is like Helen and Lennell, I forget what his name is. They got all kinds of stuff in the backyard. It's from, I don't know what it is. It's just all grown up around it, little trees and bushes, the whole backyard. It's everything back there. And then his granddaughter across the road, she's got everything in the carport. You know, you couldn't even fit a car in there if you wanted to. There's people got stuff around their house. Some's not mowing their yards. I got on the other side of Ryan, there's a house. Her yard is always a mess. She's got a dog she don't even take care of. It's got mange, and I'm feeding it half the time because she's not taking care of it. Just there's a lot of rundown houses. We got Ronnie Thompson's house is condemned. You know, it needs to be knocked down. It's boarded up, and his garage has got tons of cars and radiators laying around. There's a house that's not been lived in on Birch Street. The second one is nobody's been living there. I don't know how long. It just, there's stuff around everybody's houses there. You know, I understand people's got stuff and, you know, but there is stuff around all their buildings and stuff, you know, needs to be cleaned up. I keep my yard clean. Nothing's out in my yard. You know, I keep it mowed. I keep it clean. There's no paper, no garbage, nothing. Dakota's moved in beside me. They keep theirs clean, mowed. It looks good. Debbie Ducky behind me has got 5 chickens. Her backyard's grown up in that one corner. You know, we got cats running everywhere in the neighborhood, getting on our vehicles, you know, and just dogs running around. People dropping strays off. We're seeing bulldogs and boxer or whatever them dogs are running around all the time. And so there's just a lot of, you know, the neighborhood looks bad because there's a lot of trash in a lot of people's yards. And the neighbor behind me, they fight just about every night, and the law's called on them all the time. Her yard just needs to be mowed, and it's grown up back there. And just, you know, the neighborhood is not perfect. And I know a lot of these people in here, and I don't have no beef with any of them, but if we want to talk about people's yards, we need to look at our own. And they got stuff piled up behind their houses, the nose and them, theirs got a lot of stuff behind theirs, you know, on the side there. And
down that road, there's some houses there that needs to be cleaned up. It's just a lot of the cleanup, and I see, across the streets, around the neighborhoods. I mean, and I know some people gets picked on and he's getting picked on. But then they let, like Ronnie Thompson, his house needs to be knocked down. His place needs to be cleaned up, and, the Baileys up there, all them vehicles, all that stuff, and just always sit there. I just see a lot of stuff that needs to be cleaned up everywhere, but, I just think, I have no problem with it. Just like anybody else, I expect them to clean up the place. I keep my place. I keep it mowed and I don't cause no problems with nobody. I get along with everybody.
Thank you. Nice talk. Okay. All right, we will consider the public hearing recess. Over. And we will reconvene into our special call meeting. First item on that part of the agenda is approval of the minutes.
Make a motion.
Right. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Did everybody sign in? If you didn't sign in, please do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Can I ask one quick question? When will we know that?
Probably tonight. There is a possibility we could put it off till next.
And how will we find out?
We'll send a notice out, I guess, to everybody, let them know that whoever stays will know, but we'll make it over. Yeah, you can check in tomorrow also, call City Hall and we'll be able to tell you.
My name is Jordan. Thank you.
No. Nope. All right. Here we are. Consideration of the request. Mr. Rash.
Starting in with no discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready.
Well, I think, of course, with everything that decisions that we made, that these are hard decisions. The big picture was John and the city. My bids with him said, not everything is, everything in this town. Any town. But we also asked, look at this big picture and see if this fits and it'll be good for the community. And, of course, under our factual findings, this will start with you, John, and we go through these questions at each meeting. These questions get asked. And you'll establish one of the number of conditional uses being prohibited in that area. In reference to zoning. So you establish that and we'll proceed forward, go through the factual findings. Questions asked, and we agree that it meets the criteria.
Since the tough one, I mean,
It's a tough one.
it ain't no everybody in prison, just put everybody's here, one side's conflicted on this. Or like Andy said, too, look at the big picture. Very familiar with real property. It's happy, but gotta have it.
Then ourselves, you know, to there.
On the R3 zone, which this is, single and duplexes, single family and duplexes or two family are allowed by matter of right. Multifamily is a conditional use. It has to meet whatever criteria needs to be made to fit into the neighborhood. So that's kind of your criteria on that, basic criteria.
And that's what I had gotten out of that. I just wanted you from the city
Yes.
administrator. Through the box checker to get us where we're at right here before the board, and that's why I'd asked you that. I didn't mean anything.
Well, no, I wasn't quite sure I was understanding, and then it kind
Yeah.
of clicked with my head. But
I just wanted to make sure that you
So,
still said on the
very
record and everything. Yeah. If anybody had any questions of why, that's the reason being. So, I mean, the size wise, I understand, the setback requirements and everything else, it does meet that. Of course, the additional, say, one and a half parking space per bedroom. I looked at the aerial shot there, you had brought up a little bit of concern there. What was your thoughts on that, John?
Well, I know what a standard parking lot looks like and how it moves. This right here has a lot of conflict. There's not enough room to do what he has proposed, without creating issues or being dangerous. Now, that doesn't mean it couldn't be done another way.
Yeah.
But the way it's proposed right here.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll work. Does he have the number of spaces? Yes, he's got the number of spaces.
Yeah.
But I just don't know that it will work.
Yeah.
The way it's proposed.
And you included, if I'm correct, Don, that's why I was wanting to ask you, on that 1 and 2 there, which would be in front of the district, the garage that's facing, I believe that'd be Burke Street, wouldn't it? Did you?
That's correct. Well, it actually faces down here on the south end of the page, that's 3rd Street and over on the left
Oh,
side.
yeah, I was wrong, I'm sorry, sorry.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so that's 2 parking spaces that utilize that to be in front of the garage.
That's correct.
So
They would basically have to be his parking places,
yeah,
or 2 of his parking places, 2 of the 3. I'm assuming 13 would be his other one because that would actually allow him to keep open his access to the garages, the accessory structures.
Yeah.
That being said, 3, 4, and 5 are the biggest concerns.
Yeah.
6 and 7 to operate properly,
Mm-hmm.
6 especially would have to actually just drive in and out
Mm-hmm.
of that, and so it's just basically pulling right off the roadway on the end of that. But like 3, 4, and 5,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have trouble with 8 and 9 backing
That's what I was.
and making the turnaround. A 90-degree setup should have 60 feet.
Yeah.
You've got 20 each for the cars on either side, and then 20 in the center.
Yeah.
Create your lanes and your backing area, safety
Yeah.
area. And that at this point does not actually have that without going into just pure gravel or grass. And I think he put gravel in on that one side, did you not?
Yeah.
So it's gravel there.
Yeah.
Then
Well, and I think you get back into the Georgia for the parking spaces. So it's wider trucks and things. It generally takes up more parking.
so that's why I say
per
10
space, and that's what I was.
10 by 20 is about as average space nowadays, especially with trucks.
Yeah.
Anyone's got a truck, you're gonna have to have a 10 by 20. 9 by 18 will not fit. You'll be sticking out in the roadway.
Fire compensated. Gonna get a new truck as a nurse or so. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, issue there.
Are the dimensions listed somewhere on his parking spots or?
Well, he figured.
I can tell you that if you go to the other page, you got 70 feet between the front of the house on that south side where most of the parking places are. Go to the green sheet and I'll tell you. Okay. The green sheet there, so you got 70 feet between front of the building and the property line. Okay. That would literally give you 7 points, but this last one is going to have to come back either go straight out, so you've got parkers that are coming in off the roadway and just parking here
Yeah.
versus those that are come in and turn into the parking here. And then they've got to be able to back out and come out somehow. Well,
Yeah.
if you've got them here, they can't.
Yeah.
Unless they just go straight out across the, you've got unlimited access.
Mhm.
That can't happen.
Yeah.
Because then you're running over the right of way and there's lines and utilities in that right of way. And it's constant traffic across that is going to create a problem.
And what were the width of the easements that are coming in on that, Don, do you know?
Not off the top of my head, but I'd have to go back and look at
Yeah, I was just curious.
It's
I know
big,
the
big.
one on Birch is bigger than the front.
I think, no, I don't want to say that because it's not on the record, without having that in front of me.
I'm just talking about.
I can look that up and let you know, but
Is that something you wanna know? Yeah.
I think we pretty well established the parking system. A little bit of an issue.
something else you might want to consider is if you're gonna have parking for all this, you're not gonna want a gravel parking.
No.
I guess that is the issue for, especially for something two-story, something that large.
Yeah.
Because the footprint, granted, the footprint is, equivalent to the other houses, but now this is two-story versus single story. But the footprint is not much bigger than the original house.
Right. What we desire to do.
Well,
Do the fact tonight. That's what we're ready to do.
I'm okay. Proceeding forward with the actual finding and bit of vote on it. Yeah, we're-
You find adequate evidence showing that such use at the proposed location is in fact as a conditional use as established under the provisions of Article 7 and appears on the official schedule of uses in Article 11 for the zoning district involved, and I will tell you that is yes. Mr. Lyles,
Yes.
Mr. Sills,
Yes.
Mr. Trailer,
Yes.
Burns is absent, and Mr. Gregory used himself. Okay. Do you find that it will be harmonious with and in accordance with the general objectives or with the specific objectives of the city's comprehensive plan and or zoning ordinance? Mr. Sills?
Yeah.
Mr. Trailer?
Yes.
Mr. Lyles?
Yes.
Will be designed, constructed, operated, maintained so as to be harmonious and appropriate in appearance with the existing and intended character of the general vicinity, and that such use will not change the essential character of the same area. Mr. Trailer?
Let me read that. Yes.
Will be designed, constructed, operated, and maintained so as to be harmonious and appropriate in appearance with the existing or intended character of the general vicinity, and that such use will not change the essential character of the same area.
Yes.
Mr. Lyles?
No.
Mr. Sills?
No.
Will not be hazardous or disturbing to existing or future neighboring uses. Mr. Lyles?
No.
Mr. Sills?
No.
Mr. Trailer?
No.
May be served adequately by essential public facilities and services such as highway, streets, police and fire protection, drainage structures, refuse disposal, water and sewer and schools, and that the persons or agencies responsible for the establishment of the proposed use shall be able to provide adequately for any such services. Mr. Sills?
Yes.
Mr. Trailer?
Yes.
Mr. Lyles?
Yes.
Will not create excessive additional requirements at public cost for public facilities and services and will not be detrimental to the economic welfare of the community. Mr. Trailer?
Yes.
Mr. Lyles?
No.
Mr. Sills?
Yes.
Will not involve uses, activities, processes, materials, equipment, and conditions or operation that will be detrimental to any person's property or the general welfare by reason of excessive production of traffic, noise, smoke, fumes, glare, and odors. Mr. Lyles?
No.
Mr. Sills?
No.
Mr. Trailer?
No.
Will have vehicular approaches to property which shall be so designed as not to create an interference with traffic on surrounding public thoroughfares. Mr. Sills?
No.
Mr. Trailer?
No.
Mr. Lyles?
No.
Will not result in the destruction, loss, or damage of a natural, scenic, or historic feature of major importance. Mr. Trailer?
Yes.
Mr. Lyles?
Yes.
Mr. Sills?
Yes.
Sorry. Not all answers are in the affirmative.
Had some that are not found in the affirmative, and we are not going to proceed with this.
You choose to reject the conditional uses as applied for.
Based on the
Okay.
Findings.
I'll make a motion. Okay. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Brian, we will see to 50 that Marshall County Fire Station. And you'll get a copy of the finding of the zoning compliance
with the information. Okay.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, need a motion to adjourn. Just let's see off. And then we'll be next about 2 seconds.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.